Today we're making fried rice, and this dish clocks in at 708 calories per portion, 57 grams of proteins, 81 grams of carbs and 14 grams of fat. However, I'm quite a big person and I like to eat a lot, so for me this is one portion, but for instance my wife would never finish this entire thing. She would split it in half and use it as 2 portions. So if you're not a big eater, I would say that you could split this and do it as 2 smaller portions, which would make it 354 calories. So to start this off, we need to have boiled some rice, and I like to do this the day before. Simply just boil 65 grams of rice, boil it, stick it on a plate, put it in the fridge, and you can use it next day. Then what we need to do is we need to have a chicken fillet, and we're using 200 grams of chicken, and we want to slice this fairly thick, because if we do it too thin then it won't have any nice texture at all. It will just feel like everything is disappearing in your mouth. So I would suggest cutting the chicken a little bit thicker than you think is necessary. What we're going to do then is we're going to marinate this chicken, and to do that we're going to start off adding some baking soda, and we're going to use 4 grams that we are just going to spread over this, and then we're going to mix it together. And we do this to tenderize the chicken, since we're going to be cooking this quite hard. This helps for the chicken not to be very dry. So if you add some baking soda and just mix that all in there, it's not going to feel as dry and boring, but it will get that nice Chinese restaurant texture that you're used to. After that, we're gonna add 8 grams of soy sauce, we're gonna add 3 grams of sugar, and also 3 grams of cornstarch. Two grams of salt, also 2 grams of MSG, and this is going to be our marinade. So all we need to do is mix that all together, and we're going to leave that in the fridge for 1 to 2 hours. You can do more, you can probably do less, but I like to do it roughly 2 hours. So just mix everything together, and we're gonna just pop that in the fridge and leave it for a while. And since this is a stir-fry dish, everything is gonna be cooking very quickly. That means that we want to have everything prepared when we start to use our wok. So we're gonna take 1 egg that we're gonna just add some salt to for seasoning, and then beat that up. So just gonna mix that up. And for the calories for this dish, I'm using one of those 0-calorie cooking sprays. If you're not, you're going to need a lot of oil, and that's gonna increase the amount of calories a lot. This is the first time I've used one of those cooking sprays, and I'm actually very happy with the result. And as you can see later on when I'm frying the egg, I'm very surprised that it worked out as well as it did. So 4 grams of sugar, 10 grams of dark soy sauce, and this is going to be our sauce later on. And what we want to do is just whisk that together roughly until the sugar has dissolved. Then we're going to go with 1 spice measure or 0.06 grams of white pepper, 3 to 4 grams of salt, depends on how salty you want your dishes, so I'm going 3.5 roughly. Then 2 grams of MSG, and this is going to be the spices we're going to add at the end of our cooking process. Then it's time to cut up our vegetables. We're going to use 1 carrot. We're just gonna simply dice that up. And the thing I like about fried rice, other than the taste, is that it's a very high volume dish for a fairly low amount of calories. So when I was eating this, my wife came home and saw me in the couch with a bowl of fried rice, and she was like, there you are with a mountain of food, and it's just like 700 calories, so it feels like you get to eat a lot, which is nice. So it's a lot of food for you to eat for a fairly restricted amount of calories, which is nice. If you are trying to reduce them, it's nice to eat something that makes you feel somewhat full. Same thing for the onion, just roughly dice it, and after that we're gonna peel 3 cloves of garlic. I like to cut the ends off, then you can just crush everything into what you're cooking. And here, as you can see, my wok is not well seasoned at all, which is why I'm surprised that it worked out as well as it did with the egg. And this is what I'm using. It's Slender Chef's sunflower seed. It's from Slender Chef, and it's the first time I'm trying it out. We've preheated our wok so it's hot, and then we're just going to give it a spray, and we're going to add our egg. And this actually surprised me a lot. It worked better for me than doing it with a low amount of oil, and calorie wise it's amazing how much calories you save by reducing the amount of oil for this dish. And I know you need to eat fat and things that your body needs it, but I like to take my fat in other methods. So as you could see earlier, my wok was very poorly seasoned, and for me just to flip this egg around, I think it's amazing, and I'm very surprised that it worked out as well. So what we want to do is just quickly cook our egg, fry it until it's almost dry. If you want to, you can clean your wok. Now you have to decide how you like your fried rice. I don't mind my vegetables chewy. I think I actually prefer it that way. However, if you do want your onions and carrots well cooked, I suggest you fry them here before you put your chicken in, because they could use a little bit more time than the chicken itself. But since I prefer it that way, the other way, with them being a bit crunchy, I'm going to add my chicken here and fry that for a while, and then I'm going to add carrots and onions. But that's going to mean that they are going to be crunchy. So if you want them well done, add them before and place them on a plate on the side. But that's up to you how you like your fried rice. So we're gonna stir fry this for a little while, for a couple of minutes, until the chicken is done and the vegetables are somewhat seasoned, and then we're going to add our rice. I'm giving the rice a bit of a spray as well, because we want some heat conductivity to that, otherwise the rice won't be as fun to eat. So we're gonna mix this together, fry it for a couple of minutes more. We're going to add our garlic. I think it's roughly 30 seconds to a minute for the eggs. Then the chicken are perhaps 2 to 3 minutes. Add the vegetables, do it for another 1 to 2 minutes. Then we're gonna add a rice, and same thing, 1 to 2 minutes. And as you can see, it's a lot of food. And here we're going to add our sauce. And we're also going to add 20 grams of Shaoxing wine, which I'm guessing you could find in your local Chinese grocery store. If you live in Sweden, you can find it at Systembolaget nowadays. You couldn't before, but now you can, which is very nice. We're going to add our spices and then just mix that with the egg together. And our final step here is that we're going to add some peas, some frozen peas. They're going to thaw and cook from the heat of the wok. so that's not going to be a problem. And finally, we're going to add 5 grams of toasted sesame oil, or 1 teaspoon. And that's it. All we need to do then is stir that in, and that means that we're done. So we're just gonna throw that on a plate. As you can see, for most people it's a lot of food. Personally, I think I could eat 2 or 3 of these without having any problem at all. But some people get full, so for those you could probably do half and still be fine and happy. And that's it. As always, thanks to all of you who are subscribing, and thanks to all of those who have commented. I really appreciate it. And to the rest of you, thanks for watching. I hope you try it, and I hope you enjoy. And if you try it, let me know what you think. Thank you, and I hope I'll see you next week.